Welcome to MC Travelogue. On this episode, we'll be exploring a house I used to live in real life. But this one's going to be for pretend. So, in the previous episode, you saw a tour of my current real life house right here. So, I decided I would go ahead and make the previous house I lived in. So, if we continue down this road, that'll take it to it. Now, in real life, it wasn't quite this close. It is in the same town, but not quite this close. Hi, duck. So here it is. It's quite a bit smaller than my current house, and the scale in the game is a little off. The real life house is actually smaller than what this one is. It was like a beginner house, really. A nice starter home. So it did have a street running in front, but for purposes of the game, I built a sidewalk, which led to the front porch. Now, the house was kind of weird. It was small when it was first built, maybe like just a couple rooms. It's a pretty old house, and they kept adding on. So this room was actually an add-on at some point, and then in the back there was another room added on. And this area back in here is actually a back porch that was added on, and I actually tore off the old one and built a new one. So basically the middle of the house was the original. So it's kind of weird with the doors. This was the original like front door, and then when they tacked on another room, they created another front door. So anyway, let's go in. Oh, no, we'll go in how you really went in when you came to my house. So it was actually on the side. The main road went down the side of the house like this. And when you went in, there was a garden. And again, this looks a lot better than it ever did in real life. So you go in the back door, which opened up into this back porch. Now, originally, the entire length of this was inside the porch, and it was all screened in. But it was real old, and it was starting to sink, into the ground. The posts were, so I just ripped the whole thing off and put better footing. Or I had better footings poured, and I just had the whole porch rebuilt. And what I did, I split it down the middle. So this became the utility room right before I left the house, before I bought my current house. So this was the utility room, little entranceway, and there was actually a piece of wood that covered the steps that went to the basement, and I don't know what kind of wood it was, but a 200-pound person could stand on it and it wouldn't break. And I tiled it the same as the floor, so it's kind of like a secret entrance. It was just all flat, but if you knew it, there was a handle here, actually a hole cut in so your hand could fit in it, and you just lifted that. It was hinged, and you laid it against the wall, and you were able to go down. So let's go down in the basement first of all. Now this looks a lot nicer than the real one did. It was real damp, and this back wall leaked real bad. And when it rained, you could see water just pouring down the wall. And what took up a lot of space in the basement was this ancient antique furnace. I was so glad to move out of there because I did not want to have to replace that. So I made it pretty big here too. It's pretty much to scale. So it was okay for storage, but again, it was real damp and wet, so you had to be careful what you stored down there. So anyway, then you go into the main house, and this was the kitchen. The sink was here, and this little alcove back in here, that's where the table was, and we had cabinets and an oven. Over here was the refrigerator. Of course, this looks bigger because there's no furniture in there, just like houses in real life. So after you go into the kitchen, then you come into what we had as the living room. We had a couple couches. We actually had this door blocked. We had a couch, like a little love seat on that wall, and a couch along the long wall with a TV here, which blocked the unnecessary window looking out onto the back porch. Again, before the back porch was added, that was a window showing outside. So off of the living room, you went into the master bedroom, which was a lot smaller than it looks like it is here. And this was the only closet in the house. Okay, so again, this door goes onto the front porch. Make sure you close the door. It's a real drafty house. And then this door also goes to the front porch. And at times we had this door sealed and or blocked with a computer desk, because there was a computer desk in that corner, one in that across there, and this was the main computer area for me. So I had bookshelves. I had this room packed. So this was kind of the studio computer room when I lived there. The people previous that lived there before me, this was their living room, and they had this as a dining room. But I had to have some kind of studio computer room, so that's why we did it that way. All right, and then coming back here, this was originally the utility room, but we redid it when Paige was born, and we made it into another bedroom, a second bedroom. And then when Will came along, we had to squeeze in a second bed, and that's when it was like, okay, we got to get out of here. So that's when we brought the current house. And it used to walk out onto the long back porch, but when I put the wall up, this became basically a storage room, and we had a wardrobe in there to hold clothes, a lot of the kids' clothes, and some more books, just stuff like that, just whatever we needed to store. So anyway, and that was the house. Oh, I forgot the huge bathroom, and really it was about this size. Imagine a tub along that whole wall, and then you had the sink here. Yeah, this is about the real size. It was small, and that was the bathroom. So you could go from the kitchen into the master bedroom, and we ended up blocking this doorway with some furniture. We put a cabinet in the kitchen on this side, like a little pantry thing, and on this side we have a dresser blocking it. So that was the interior of the house. Now let's go around back. I'll close the door here. We got a sidewalk going back, and it was actually a chain link fence that enclosed the whole yard, and a little gate here. There's a little concrete pad back here, and we had the table and patio table and chairs. Over here we had a lot of the kids' toys, a swing set. We did not have this big crater with archer skeletons, at least not when we lived there. The fence went along, and the neighbor's house was right next to this. I mean, it was maybe a matter of 10 feet away from our house. And back at the back end of the house, of the property, there was a garage, which just hasn't been built yet. I'll finish that. I didn't know what to do about this big hole in the ground. Didn't know if I wanted to fill it in or what. But anyway, so the garage was back here, and it went out to the street, which ran next to the house. So anyway, and that was my starter home, the first house I ever owned. And I suppose that concludes our tour of my first real-life house. So thanks for watching. Come back for another episode of MC Travelogue.